Ya baik, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Ya, suara saya terdengar jelas di sana?
Jelas, Bu.
Iya. Baik, mohon maaf tadi ada kendala teknis sedikit ya. Ya, selamat pagi menjelang siang semuanya ya. Senang sekali hari ini kita bisa eh, berjumpa di sini dalam kegiatan yang luar biasa, itu sebuah seminar internasional gitu ya. Nah, hari ini kita berada di sesi paralel yang kedua. Kita perkenalkan, nama saya Lita Lutfianti dan di sini sebagai moderator kita untuk sesi paralel yang kedua ini ya. Nah, untuk sesi paralel yang kedua ini kita memiliki waktu sekitar 90 menit ya, yang nantinya terbagi menjadi dua sesi. Sesi pertama yaitu presentasi dari pemateri, ada 7 pemateri di sini ya. Jadi masing-masing pemateri nanti akan mempresentasikan makalahnya itu sekitar 10 menit ya. Kemudian 20 menit kita akan mengadakan sesi tanya jawab. Ya baik, sini telah hadir 7 pemateri, yaitu Ibu Nur Aina. Ibu Nur Aina ada? Ada Ibu Nur Aina, kemudian Yoga Triadi, Bintang Nadea. Bintang Nadea sudah hadir, iya. Kemudian Tiara Rida Imami. Oh ya, Tiara ada. Lalu Yuniarto Lingga. Yuniarto Lingga belum hadir sepertinya ya. Lalu Cynthia Kusuma Adistana. Iya. Dan Bapak Ahmad Yani. Oh ya, sudah hadir juga ya. Baik. Tidak perlu menunggu lama, langsung saja kita dengarkan presentasi dari pemateri pertama, yaitu dari Ibu Nur Aina. Silakan Ibu Nur Aina.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning. My name is Nur Aina. I am from Lampung University. Today I would like to present our research entitled A Descriptive Study Investigating Factors Causing Students' Anxiety in Speaking English in the Second International Conference. Education of Language, Literature, and Arts, or ICELLA, blended learning and teaching of language, literature, and arts. So we're going to the introduction. What is anxiety? Horowitz and Cope stated that anxiety can be called as the subjective feeling of tension, apprehension, nervousness, and worry. Where the Gregerson said that learners who feel anxious in their foreign language learning might find their study less enjoyable, which means that when the students have anxiety in them, when they learn, they cannot enjoy the lesson itself. So then what is speaking anxiety? From Rennie Winarni stated that many terms for speaking anxiety, such as stage fright, communication apprehension, anxiety about appearing in public, which then develops with the term of communication apprehension. Where Hassan stated that students' anxiety can be called as a social phobia. It's triggered by social situation, a fear of being judged in certain situation. It means that when students have anxiety, it will make them feeling fear or apprehension to show off because they afraid of being judged by other people. For example, in front of the classroom. So we're going to the background of the study. Why did I choose to do research about speaking anxiety? The first reason is because the researcher experience related to many English language education students in Lampung University who were afraid or worried when they speak English. For example, when I was in my classroom, there were so many friends of mine. When I asked them, why don't you speak English? They said, my English is not really good. I think my grammar is still bad and something like that. So they don't want to speak in English. And then the second reason is that because the research is very interested to investigate the factors that make the students to be anxious in speaking English. And the third reason is because, as Horwitz and Cope stated, that the symptoms and consequences of foreign language society should thus become readily identifiable to those concerned with language learning and teaching. So this is the previous studies about students speaking anxiety. For example, we take the example from Gubran. He found that the factor of the students speaking anxiety due to negative behavioral experiences, fear of failure, frustrated in certain situation, uncertain about doing things, negative self-evaluation, negative self-orientation, and also worrying about what will happen in the future if they speak English. Okay, this research question is, what are the factors that cause students batch 2018 feel anxious while speaking English at English Language Education Study Program in London University? In order to answer this research question, this is the method of the research. This research using descriptive research by using quantitative and qualitative approach. 50 students out of 96 students of English Language Education Study Program in London University that 2018 were selected randomly as the sample of this research. And for the instruments, two instruments were used to obtain the both quantitative and qualitative data. The first instrument was a foreign language classroom inside a scale questionnaire by Horwitz and Cope. It's used to find the students' anxiety level, and the second one was open-ended questionnaire to find out the students' speaking anxiety factors. These instruments distributed by using a link to Google Form because of COVID-19 pandemic, and the research was carried out for 2 weeks, started from May 31st to June. Namely communication, peer evaluation, and it has two categories. The first is positive one, and second is negative one. And this instrument
Ya, sepertinya Ibu Nur Aina sedang ada permasalahan jaring. Ya, sudah hadir kembali. Ya.
Okay. I can I continue this? The foreign language classroom side scale questionnaire using Likert scale from strongly agree, neither agree nor disagree, disagree and strongly disagree. For positive one from 1 to 5 and negative one from 5 to 1. And this result will be calculated manually by following ordering scales from very anxious level to very relaxed level. Okay. For the second questionnaire, it was open-ended questionnaire. All the statements represented performance anxiety, called communication apprehension, self-anxiety, and fear of negative evaluation. And for each of them consists of 7 statements. The first, it has two parts. The first part designed like this. It has a scale from always true to never true, and scored from 5 to 1. And the second part designed in form of essay about where, when, why, and to whom the students speak English that make them to be anxious in speaking English. So we come to the result in discussion. Um, from the students' response in foreign language classroom anxiety scale questionnaire from COVID, uh, it's calculated manually by using Ording scale. This is the findings. There were 6 students in very anxious level, 16 students in anxious level, 20 students in mildly anxious level, 6 students in relaxed level, and 2 students in very relaxed level. So for the next step, there will be 22 students. So this is the result for the open-ended questionnaire. From communication apprehension, we got the score for 560. Test anxiety was 500. For fear of negative evaluation was 545 from the total score of 770. So for fear of negative evaluation was the highest score among communication apprehension and task anxiety. It contributed as much as 70.77% of 22 respondents in speaking anxiety. That's for quantitative research. And for the qualitative one, the factors that cause the students' anxiety in speaking due to lack of grammar mastery, afraid of other people's judgment, lack of confidence, afraid of making mistakes, and also the students' negative thought towards their speaking ability. And the second rank was communication apprehension. Communication apprehension contributed as much as 67% of 22 respondents in speaking anxiety. And for the qualitative research, it found that the factors that cause the students anxious in speaking English due to lack of vocabulary again, lack of grammar mastery, afraid of making mistakes, afraid of other people's judgment about their speaking ability, and again, lack of confidence. And then the last one, or the lowest score among fear of negative evaluation and communication apprehension was test anxiety. From the quantitative research, it found that test anxiety contributed as much as 64.9% of the 22 respondents in speaking anxiety. And for the qualitative research, the factors that caused the students anxious in speaking English were afraid of failure, lack of vocabulary, lack of grammar mastery, lack of confidence again, less of preparation, and the last is afraid to the lecturer. So we come to the conclusion. The first conclusion, there were 22 students out of 50 students in English language education batch 2018 who were anxious in speaking English. And the second one, fear of negative evaluation was the highest score among communication apprehension and task anxiety in influencing the students' anxiety in speaking English. And the last, the students were anxious to speak English due to pressure in facing the lecturer, lack of grammar mastery, lack of vocabulary, the students' negative thoughts towards their own English ability, afraid of judgments from other people, afraid of failure, less of preparation for the test, and the last and the most contributed one is lack of confidence. So I think that's all from my presentation. Thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Ya, terima kasih kepada Ibu Nur Aina.